The GameCube wasn't home to many RPGs, especially when compared to the goldmine of RPGs that was the PlayStation 2. But what it lacked in quantity, it made up for in the quality of the RPGs it did have. Tales of Symphonia, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, all amazing RPGs in their own right, all found on the GameCube. And the game we're talking about today is right up there with them. Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean is an obscure title on a system full of obscure titles, but it's still one of the most unique RPGs you could ever come across. And it was developed by Monolith Soft. Yes, the same Monolith Soft behind the now beloved Xenoblade games. There's even quite a bit of similarities with the themes found throughout all the Xeno games and Baten Kaitos, but I'll get back to that later. What initially drew me to the game was the beautiful and admittedly angsty box art. The colors, the pose of the main character Callus, the look in his eyes, I was transfixed and had to see what the game was all about. And luckily for me, this beautiful art direction isn't only for the box art. Baten Kaitos is full of vibrant colors that just make everything pop. The game uses beautifully drawn pre-rendered backgrounds that your characters run through, and every area is a visual treat, no matter how mundane said area will otherwise normally be. And this just isn't the backgrounds either. Every character in the game looks like they came out of a colorful storybook, and their designs instantly catch your eye, like Savina's green thigh boots or Callus's blue hair and outfit that contrasts with the brown armor he has placed on key points of his body. Even today, the game is a visual treat to be admired. Earlier I said that Baten Kaitos is one of the most unique RPGs you'll ever see, and I'd like to expand on that now. When you think of a typical RPG battle system, I imagine something like the simple turn-based battles of Dragon Quest, or maybe the real-time action of the Kingdom Hearts games come to mind. Well, Baten Kaitos uses a battle system you'll not find in any other RPG. In this game, you actually use cards to do everything from attack, defend, and heal. And it's actually extremely fun. Throughout the game's world, you'll come across cards, both in and outside of combat. You carry empty cards on your person and can trap the essence of things throughout the world, like say, fire or water, and other times you simply can buy cards. Some are cards meant to just deal damage or protect you, but you'll also find things like food cards that can be used to heal, but crazy enough will go rotten and cause poison instead if you don't use them before too long. Some cards even evolve into different cards under the right circumstances, and some are even used to solve puzzles and dungeons. You'll build a deck for each member of your party, but it's not as simple as throwing in the strongest cards. See those numbers displayed on the cards? You have to use them in pairs or straights to compound their offensive or defensive power. Now, you could go through the game throwing out random cards, but you'll be making your time with the game very challenging, and it's just fun to get a long chain of cards to deal out big damage on the enemies. And battles in this game happen in real time. You have a short window to look at what cards you have, choose an order to use them in or throw away, and if you're defending, the enemy will attack you without waiting for you to choose. It can get frantic, scouring for the right card while your HP dwindles away, especially during boss battles. And since we're talking about the battles, I gotta mention some of the downright weird weapon choices that are in this game. A lot of the games during this era weren't afraid of experimenting with weird and original ideas, and I feel Baten Kaitos as a whole is an example of this. But to illustrate what I mean, Gabari uses a double-sided fishing oar, and Liu uses brass instruments that are also sound guns. It makes sense in the fact these weapons are related to their personal interests or lifestyles, but still. So, by this point, I'm sure you've noticed that all these characters have wings during battle, and if you look closely, you'll see that Callus has one angelic wing and one robotic one. This plays into the lore and story of Baten Kaitos, as everyone in this world naturally has wings, but Callus is a rarity in that he only has one, making him an anomaly in this world. Having one wing is considered a deformity, and those with one wing are said to possess tainted souls. Oh, and Callus's English name is a rough translation of his Japanese name Karasu, or Crow, which many of you may know are often seen as ill omens. Thus, it's no surprise that Callus has been ostracized his entire life by those around him, save his little brother and grandfather, the latter being the one that built Callus's mechanical wing, to better help his grandson fit into society. Such misfit protagonists are a dime a dozen in stories across many mediums, but Baten Kaitos uses Callus's background to great effect to show just how unfortunate circumstances and being an outsider can drive an otherwise kind and caring person to do things against their nature. Alright, I'm about to dive into some super mega spoiler territory here, and if you have any indication whatsoever of playing Baten Kaitos yourself one day, then skip to the time shown on screen here to avoid these spoilers. Alright, here we go. So, throughout the game, our hero Callus and his friends are on your typical fantasy journey. Travel across the world, beat up some bad guys, and try to stop the resurrection of an evil god. Nothing new if you played any number of RPGs. But Baten Kaitos does something I don't think I've ever seen done, or done so well, in any other game I've ever played. So, throughout the game, you meet this girl called Melodia. At first, there's not much suspicious about her on the surface, a frail teenage girl that her party keeps running into. Though if you play many RPGs, you can probably tell something's a little off with her. But anyways, fast forward a bit, and lo and behold, she's trying to resurrect the evil god Malpercio by collecting the End Magnus, these special cards you've been coming across throughout the game. But that's not all. She's had an inside man in your party this entire time helping her do it. After collecting the final End Magnus, she tells the trader to step forward and claim the reward for helping her. And who is it? The main character we've been following this whole game, Callus. Look, I've played countless RPGs and I've come across plenty of trader party members, but I don't think I've ever played a game where the trader was the main character themselves. I was dumbfounded the first time I saw this scene. Callus was the group leader. He could be brash, but he was a genuinely good guy that I liked. He had a sense of humor. He made others feel good when they didn't believe in themselves. And he betrayed everyone to help resurrect an evil god. And why did he do it? Remember when I said about him being an outcast, only having one wing, and how he's been looked at as an ill omen all his life? Well, that messed with him more than he ever let on, and his reward for helping resurrect Malpercio is a set of beautiful radiant wings, Callus unfurling them as he screams in hysterics about how he's finally complete, how he's found himself at long last. The pain, rage, and sadness from years of being an outsider in this world finally come pouring out to the surface. This is what I mean by Monolith taking Callus's backstory and really driving it home as a motivation for his character. They could have easily left it at him having a hard upbringing, yet persevering and finding friends in life to make something out of himself, like most characters with a past of being rejected do in games and anime. And that would have been fine, but this betrayal for the pursuit of what he's never had is much more powerful in my opinion. I couldn't even hate or be mad at Callus when this happened because I instantly understood why he did it, even if it wasn't the right thing to do. And to this day, this scene is one of my favorites in gaming. It's so powerful. Or at least it would be if it wasn't for one very big issue. Up to this point, I've avoided letting you hear voice acting from the game. Now, after hearing that, you're probably thinking, wow, Bao, is it that bad? And to answer you, well, I'll just play the scene for you. What you're about to hear has not been edited by me in any way. It is the actual audio from the actual scene of the game.
Look at me! This is my true form! At long last! Look at my beautiful wings! I'm complete! I found myself! I feel the power flowing inside me! Power of mighty Malpercio! Flames of life from the gods!
So yeah, just ignoring the voice acting itself for a second, the quality of the voice work is even more jarring, sounding like everyone is speaking through a tube.
Some fish or another is bound to have Pacusa seaweed in its gut. If we can catch one, presto, the seaweed's ours for the taking.
Believe it or not, myself and many other fans of the game kinda like it, though I'm not gonna pretend it's in any way, shape, or form great. Though some performances are definitely better than others, it just kind of falls into that so bad is good territory. In making this video, I did a little research to find out just what the heck happened behind the scenes, and while I couldn't find any official interviews or comments from anyone involved in the game, it seems the game had a Japanese voice actor who hired many voice actors either not very experienced in video games or didn't speak English as their mother tongue. Now, I know for those hearing the voice work for the first time that it can be a little off-putting.
Oh my God!
Okay, very off-putting, but trust me when I say that it doesn't stop Baten Kaitos from being an amazing game. I think fans of the Xeno games in particular will enjoy the characters and themes of this game especially. Many of the core themes present throughout the Xeno games, like what it means to be a human or overcoming a predetermined fate, are present in Baten Kaitos. Another area where the game shines brilliantly and is not talked about enough is the soundtrack. The composer of the game is BaoZakeruga, the same lead composer for most of the Tales series. That may bring up a red flag for some of you, as it's commonly believed that a lot of the music in the Tales series can be repetitive and just not that good. But let me assure you that BaoZakeruga brought his A game to Baten Kaitos, and it is phenomenal. At times you may not even believe he's the same composer for the Tales series. Listen to this boss theme from the Tales series. Now listen to this boss theme from Baten Kaitos, both done by the same person. Crazy, right? There are certain games where it's apparent the people behind it really put a lot of passion into it, and that really shines true for Baten Kaitos. When I reached the end of Kalos' journey, I could tell that whoever wrote him put a lot of time to make his story well-paced, relatable, and most important of all, realistic. He was a believable character in a beautiful world that was fun to explore and that was adorned with some really beautiful music. Baten Kaitos may have never found the same popularity as Monolith Soft's other popular games, but it still has a cult following of loyal fans like myself that were fortunate enough to experience and fall in love with the game. It got a second game, which served as a prequel, thankfully improving the voice acting and even revamping the battle system. One day I'll make a video on that too. I hope you guys enjoyed this peek at one of my personal favorite RPGs, and if you have any interest, don't hesitate to pick it up and try it for yourself. It's definitely unlike anything you'll ever play. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and leave a like, and share this video with your friends. I really appreciate it. See you later. A big thank you to this month's patrons, Buttermilk Mike, Nightmare Alpha, Roland Glenn, and Westtown HD. Your support is always appreciated. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to become a patron, check out my Patreon link in the description below. Thank you guys. Later.